Now, as I opened the box, I said to myself, you know what's funny? I know something about him. I know he was a military general who had a lot to do with the independence of Spanish America, Latin America from Spain, but I don't know that much. And I'm interested in history. I know a lot about American history and you know the Revolutionary War, Civil War, and that kind of stuff. But I said, let me look this up on the web real quick, and let me see what kind of information I can find. And what I found really astounded me. Before the serious part, the funny part, his full name, Simon Jose Antonio de la Santísima Trinidad Bolivar y Palacios Ponte y Blanco. Jeez, that is some freaking name. You better do a lot in this world if you have a name that long. Anyway, commonly known as Simon Bolivar, was a Venezuelan military and political leader. So, together with Jose de San Martin, he played a key role in Hispanic-Spanish America's successful struggle for independence from the Spanish Empire, and is today considered one of the most influential politicians in Latin American history. Following the triumph over the Spanish monarchy, Bolivar participated in the foundation of the first Union of Independent Nations in Hispanic America, a republic, which was named Colombia, of which he was president from 1819 to 1830. Bolivar remains regarded in Hispanic America as a hero, visionary, revolutionary, and liberator. You know, they should have LA Blue boxes with this guy on it, not Shea, okay? Anyway, during his lifetime, he led Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, and Bolivia to independence and helped lay the foundations for democratic ideology in much of Latin America. Really, really cool. And I'm not going to go crazy here, but I was reading through some of this, and he is an amazing, amazing figure. And some of the artwork here is just fantastic. Here's a picture very similar to the one you find on the jar. I actually like his face in this one a little more. That's kind of nice. Scrolling down, a few other interesting points. Right here, I did not know this. Everybody always asks, who is that? Statue faces those of Jose de San Martin and Jose Marti at the 59th Street and 6th Avenue entrance of Central Park. I was wondering, who is that guy? In New York, Central Park. That's him. That's Simon Bolivar. Even in New York, right there in Central Park. So that is really, really cool. When I'm reading through this, it talks about his father settling in San Diego, with his, where was it? Which is obviously the Dominican Republic. So anyway, if you really want to be impressed, look this guy up. There's a great Wikipedia article alone. I didn't even go through some of the other stuff, and just a ton of information on his history. I think it's really cool if you own the jar and you have it there in your living room and people will see it and say, oh, who is that? You have more to say about it than, oh, it's a Cuban cigar. Bolivar is a Cuban cigar, but Simon Bolivar was much more than a cigar, obviously. Probably the kind of leader we need more of today, unfortunately. So anyway, now that you know. Okay, so now that our little history lesson is over, we have something really, really special to look at. Also, while I was in between videos, I was finally given a chance to actually check out our little number over here, and it checks out fine. Definitely an authentic Habanos product. However, we already know the jar is freaking real. The cigars are shipped separately. So, doesn't really mean anything. Okay? However, these are real. They're not. There's no way they're not. They're perfect. So, you know, I guess what I have to tell you as far as legitimate products go when it comes to jars is be very careful. Trust your vendor. Look at the cigars thoroughly. Bands, yeah, but the number one thing, of course, is the shape, size, length. Make sure the length all matches up. Color, we can see on these cigars here that the color is freaking identical, man. I mean, there isn't a hair of difference from one cigar to another. And the bands are all embossed superbly. They're the right color, the right length, the right size. The Bolivar bands have the right tabs on them. You know, with this Perfecto Romeo size, you really can't see the bunching, but you can feel that the cigar is well filled, not overfilled, not underfilled. It's 100% authentic. So it's also nice in the future, if you ever wanted to, as a collector, for some crazy reason, if you wanted to sell your jar, you're able to put that number up onto the Habano site and show the person you're selling that this is the real deal, baby. You know, this ain't no Chinese ripoff. Anyway. Alright, viewers, now comes the fun part. The part you've all been waiting for, to actually see the jar. First of all, this box is gorgeous. I mean, there's just artwork and stuff everywhere, as with all these jars. They're doing, Habanos SA, these releases are absolutely fantastic. This release, by the way, is by Pacific Company and a company called Infifon, or Infifon, Infifon. Not really sure how to pronounce it, but they are responsible for the distribution of this jar. Those are the distributors. So this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous box, except, of course, for these wonderful pictures we have on the side there. But, hey, that's the world we live in. You know what? You know what? It's funny because here, let me put that on there for a second and just talk to you. As I wrote somewhere else, maybe it was in the Partagas, yes, on the DrJoeShow site, if you go to the Partagas review with all the pictures and everything, you'll see I wrote a little something about Cuban humidor jars and about Cuban cigar culture and how Cuban cigar culture is a great recorder, a great note taker, or if you want to call it a stenographer of history itself. To rephrase that, Cuban cigar culture is a great stenographer of history itself, because you can see the times, the era that was, and the era we live in, by looking at the kind of cigars there were, the kind of cigar products there were. And when you look at the past and how, you know, the jars of the past remind you of the past. They look like the past. They look antiquish. They look like they came from the 30s or the 40s or the 50s or the 60s. And when you look at today's modern jars, you can tell that they're much more modern with the high-end, high-tech graphics and everything. And even in stuff like this, we could see the times we live in. Because this would have never been on here before. In fact, the company would have been, are you kidding me? No, you can't do that. It's my product. I'm not going to put an advertisement of some beautiful woman turning into an old lady on my package. What? Get the out of here. You kidding me? But these are the times we live in, and we've allowed the government to completely control how we distribute our products and who we distribute them to. And it's kind of amazing how we can see this in cigar culture. Anyway, that little note aside, this box is beautiful in all ways, and let's see what we got. I'm going to pull this rope back. The box has a rope attached to it, which is kind of nice, you know. The rope itself even reminds me of... anyway. So, there's the lid, which is graphics that we're going to see on the jar. Again, the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relationship, China and Cuba, 1960 to 2010. It's just the way it is there. And as all jars are packed, inside we have some foam. Okay? I'm going to pull that out. This is some heavy-duty stuff, man.